Overdrive is calling all small fleet owner-operators of 3 to 30 trucks to get your entries in for the 2025 Small Fleet Championship. Overdrive's now 6-year running competition, sponsored by the National Association of Small Trucking Companies and recognizing the hard work put into building better business for the long haul. Entries are open through the end of July, which you can start for your own business at overdriveonline.com/2025SFC for Small Fleet Champ. Judges will recognize fleets in 2 size categories, 3 to 10 trucks for the smaller companies and 11 to 30 trucks for those who've grown beyond 10. Last year's winner in that category, Louisville area headquartered CW Express, you heard here on Overdrive Radio with our shop visit just a few weeks back now, with owner Steve Wilson looking ahead to further growth beyond his current 17-truck operation from new headquarters in Sellersburg, Indiana. And today, listen in for a tour around the California, Missouri headquarters of Paul Rissler Transportation, current Small Fleet Champ in the 3 to 10 truck division. I'm Todd Dills, and I got the opportunity to see the Ristler headquarters in early May, just ahead of Paul Rissler's older brother John Rissler's Crossroads truck meet show. They're in Ristler country at the junction of US 50 and Missouri State Route 87 in California. Paul Rissler is one of 5 Rissler brothers and their family. It's clear the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree for the Ristlers. As you'll hear today, as Paul details his father and mother's own small fleet history right from the spot where it all started for young Paul, following in his father's footsteps as a small fleet owner. The fleet's ranged over more than a couple decades now, from just a few to 8 trucks. The Ristlers were squarely at 6 trucks when they brought home the Small Fleet Champ title belt from the NASTC conference last fall. When I visited in May, things were in a brief moment of flux, with one longtime driver moving toward retirement to local work and another leaving as well.
Where are your drivers today?
2 of them are in Pennsylvania. One's at the show.
Well,
So we'll be there tomorrow. And I'm here.
right.
We're down to 4 right now.
Down to 4, wow.
Yeah.
On the other side of a break, we'll dive into the particulars of just what's happened with the all-reefer small fleet, still with steady LTL lanes out of Pennsylvania from Consolidator Dutchland Refrigerated and other customers back toward Missouri from Colorado, and the prospects for more business. Paul and his wife, Michelle, with all 3 sons, Justin, Josh, and Jordan, involved in various aspects of the business, clearly built something sustainable no matter what comes. We'll start in the company office, then get a look at the main shop and warehouse area for Paul Rissler Transportation, then at the Ristler-built LLC custom truck shop operated now by Josh and outfitted with what might just be the biggest paint booth in the entire state of Missouri. All of it built by the hands of and the close bonds between the Ristler family and close-knit trucking community they've brought along with them on their run of long success. Keep tuned.
When the temps rise, so does stress on your diesel engine. Dust, dry fuel, and high heat can wear down your system fast. That's why smart drivers use Howe's Diesel Defender. It cleans injectors, improves lubricity, and keeps things running smooth, even in extreme summer conditions. Defender also increases fuel economy by a minimum of 5%, guaranteed. This summer, defend your diesel with Howe's. Available at retailers nationwide and on Amazon.
You can find more information about the Howe's company's full line of fuel treatments there at the Howe's website. That's HOWES, HowesProducts.com. The office at Paul Rissler Transportation was once Paul's father's and mother's home shop, and the house the younger Paul grew up in stands adjacent to it. Here's Paul starting us back into that history.
Yeah, this is where I grew up. This is the home place. In 79, Mom and Dad moved out of Pennsylvania out here and built a new house.
Okay.
And they built a new house and new shop here. Yeah, he had trucks all his life since he was 18. So
You had more than one truck your dad. How old?
my dad had,
What was his name?
Paul. So he had, I think the most trucks he ever had at one time were probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
He's always stayed small too. And then after we got married in 93, we moved. I was living in Pennsylvania from 92, 93, or 91 to 93. We got married and moved back out here, and we lived up the road here. We lived a little ways from here. And then I worked here for my dad as a mechanic. I started working on his trucks again because I was gone, he wanted me back.
Right.
And then when I was old enough to start driving, and Justin, he was only 8 months old, we started driving for him in 96. Then we drove for him for a year, and then we got on authority in 97.
Okay.
And then I bought my truck and trailer from him. And then I was Paul Rissler Transportation. He was Paul Rissler Trucking. And we both parked here. And our mailbox is here and over here now.
Okay.
And our checks with...
We got mixed up, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. When they got our check, it was spent. So, anyway, then in that was in 97 and 2000. I think in 2002, he decided it was time to retire. And I think at that time he had 3 or 4 trucks. They were all Mormons.
Okay.
And he asked everybody if anybody wanted to buy them out, and help them out. Went around to the oldest to the youngest and came back around to me. I said, well, I'll take over. The other drivers said they'll drive for me, but they wouldn't drive for the others because they only had 1 truck. Okay. I had already 4 trucks by then. So we bought their trucks and had 7 and
right.
8. I don't remember. The most we had was 8.
Okay.
Well,
Nice.
them Marmons, we sold we still had the first one we drove. Me and her drove the red, white, and blue cab over to sit in the woods.
Okay.
Someday we want to restore it.
Okay.
But she told us, when we got married, she didn't want me to drive a truck. And you know that story. And I said, well, I'm probably going to drive a truck because I'm from a trucking family. And then it went from that. She goes, well, as long as we don't drive one of them flat nosy thingies. And that's the first truck we drove.
We would, in fact, get a look at that old beauty of a 1979 Marmon cab over, double bunk, out behind the new Ristler-built custom shop headed up today by Paul and Michelle's son, Josh. You can catch a picture or two of it parked out in the grass to be restored at a future point in the post that houses this podcast for June 16th, 2025 at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. The Ristler's oldest son, Justin, now involved in the business in the office there in the former shop of Paul Rissler Trucking. Well, Justin was just 8 months old at the time and a frequent passenger on hauls in the Marmon.
That's where he learned to walk at 8 months old.
Yeah.
The office is adorned with all manner of memories, trophies from a myriad truck shows the Ristlers have participated in through the years, including some big wins at past editions of the Shell Super Rigs event. The first truck Paul owned, which he referenced earlier, was a 1994 379, bought from his father after driving for him in the Marmon cab over.
Actually, the first truck I bought for my dad, the Marmon was the first one we drove because I was working for my dad for a year. But the first one we bought is that one right there. They're redoing it for me. They made a little big hood out of it. It's a short hood.
Okay.
And it had a flat top on it. And then my brother drove it for 2 million miles. It's got over 2 million miles on it. It's a 94 Pete. And I don't know, do we have any pictures of that one up here on the wall anywhere? This was my office that Justin put over, so that's why all the trophies are in here.
What's the division of labor around here between all of you guys anymore? I know I see Justin's here in the office. Are you spending more time working on stuff or driving too, or what?
No, I am. You wish you were.
That's Paul's son, Jordan, who is in fact the main man in the Paul Rissler Transportation shop, servicing the trucks and the like, with a little good-natured ribbing for his dad, wishing Paul wasn't, in fact, in the shop as much as he is.
They're doing such a good job. I let them work on the trucks anymore. But we turned over the Ristler Build LLC. We turned it into a complete garage.
Yeah.
And Josh, I let him take over the whole deal.
Okay.
So that's kind of his own now.
Okay.
So now he has to have Jordan work for him.
Yep.
But I guess when our trucks get serviced by Jordan. He does all the services. And Justin does most of the office work anymore here. And him and Michelle.
Okay.
And I want to truck as much as I can. But I had two guys quit. And that guy quit in the Kenworth. I just bought him that truck 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to do that whole rig yet. Looking kind of for a driver, but there's so many steering holders out there. And I just bought that little green Peterbilt liner for myself because I sold the Freightliners that I had, that Coronado.
Okay.
I put my driver from that into my Peterbilt, my black one. And because he came along, to help my cousin has that cancer.
Okay.
And he isn't getting better. So he worked for me like 6 months. I said, you know what? I like to drive a Peterbilt. I didn't want to drive this Freightliner forever. I told him just, fill on the seat for now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just listed the Freightliner, sold it, and in one day it was gone.
Wow.
And so I just moved him over to my truck. Went and bought this. It was a green one.
What is the green one? What's what year?
It's a 16 glider.
Okay, that's our utility.
389, yeah.
Right.
And that one there has ELD, so I don't want to really drive it. Everybody's saying I should drive it because it's the newest one I have, but it's just not the coolest one. It's not.
We were looking out on a 2023 model rig, the newest in the fleet, and as Ristler noted, a non-glider. In May, when we were talking, it remained without a driver, given the veteran who'd moved on to a more local run with a different company as he slowed down, now in his 60s, as Paul Rissler told the tale.
He ain't mad or anything. He just quit to go run for a local run. He wants to be home every day, he says. So he drove for me for 15 years.
Wow.
He's just getting older, and he's in his 60s, but
Right.
he just decided to run a local run.
Right. So you are still looking for one other person? You got an empty truck at this point.
I do that right now.
Yeah.
Had to be up to Michelle. She probably say you just sell and stick with Ford trucks.
It's in a good place in life. It's like
I just bought a silver Kenworth, a 2019 silver Kenworth for my driver that's been with me for a long time, and his wife. His wife said, Paul, I haven't gone with my husband for over a year because I gave him a 46-inch flat top. That's what he wanted. And I said, you mean if I buy you a bigger bunk, or a bigger truck, you'll go along again? She goes, yeah. So I started looking. Next day, we found this 2019 Kenworth with an 86-inch studio, just like that one.
Really?
And we bought that at a really good price. And the day we bought that, I looked on Facebook, and the guy goes, I'm looking for a 46-inch flat-top Peterbilt. I told this guy from Nebraska, I said, I might have one for you. It was a 14 glider. The next day, he come down and picked it up and bought it. Which shows that it was the quickest loan we ever paid off that quick in 2 days. That truck was sold, and we flipped that money. So they're still debt-free.
Still standing in the office then, Paul told more of the tale of his parents, for whom the building we were standing in had once been the company's shop.
Okay.
Paul and Marion Ristler.
Yeah.
And he drove truck all his life, and we farmed when we were kids. But the farming just never went over. The trucking was paying the farming, so finally we told Dad, look, let's just give up the farming because we had 100 acres here. And just get into trucking 100% and forget trying to farm. Us boys were getting older then, and we were kind of helping out and kind of had a little more say, I guess. That's when everything took off for him and how, got him out of debt.
Okay.
It got him out of debt after he quit trying to farm. Farming is that way, you either got to be in it 100% or not at all.
You bought them out 2000, you said? Is that right?
right around there.
Okay. And then at that time, it was just the shop and
Just this shop here and the house.
Okay.
And none of this other. There's barely a parking for all the trucks.
Okay.
They had like one time, one of his drivers backed right into my trailer. Just crap. I back it in there so tight.
Right.
What do you do? But then we added all this here, made bigger parking lot, and
A new garage and warehouse area for parts storage and a dock for consolidating loads as need be. Likewise, now the Ristler-built LLC custom shop that Paul's son Josh heads up
everybody
today.
knows Kenny.
We walked through the shop adjacent to the current office. On a concrete pad outside the shop in years past.
We had a portable shed that we turned into an office.
Right.
It was like really nice inside, We come
Down there at the house?
It was down there first, beside in front of the house, and we moved it up here. We made this pad just for it, and then we were still using that shop and this shop, and then one day, let's just close that off. We had a big door there. We closed it off, put a big window in there, and made that the office.
Right. Yeah, you use the docks when you have to store something or briefly or yeah.
This is our washout area. We wash out trucks. We wash out about sometimes 3 to 4 trucks a day on people. Usually they advertise it and just come. And this is our washout, so it stinks a lot of times now because of washout. You never know what you're gonna get. So this is our area for the warehouse now because this is our polishing room here, or was. The boys just don't want to work that hard anymore. Used to do all wheel polishing and everything for people. Got my extra cat motor here. C15 in case we leave one of us leaves us there. I just bought that thing.
Plenty of How's diesel treat for winter anti-gel stacked up there in the parts area, too, for the Ristler operation. A wash base that's adjacent to the big newer Ristler-built LLC shop, where we found Paul's son, Josh, putting the finishing touches on a straight tanker rig for a local company who planned to show it out at the Crossroads truck meet the following day.
Shop's a little bit of a wreck right now. So.
All right, no, that's your working shop. It gets dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
This will be over the show.
Yeah, I'm up there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, you're staying up tonight.
As soon as I get these lights figured out and I finish tightening down these stacks, I'll be taking it up there for them.
It's cool.
And got it somewhat cleaned up, but
It had wrap on the tanks, the same color teal.
yeah.
So they had to rip all that off. So now the tanks aren't polished; they're just brand new looking. Because this is how many miles on it? It's 24.
I think 80. Yeah, no, he dropped it off last Saturday. We started on it last Monday, and
Just repaint everything.
got most of the paint last week and been spending this whole week putting it back together.
Where do you do the painting?
Wow.
25 by 75 foot long, biggest paint booth in mid-America, mid-Missouri.
Is that true?
No, it's true. We used to buy our paint for
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly's, and the wrap goes all around, the Missouri. Well, we built those things. That's the biggest one in the Missouri, but we built it ourselves. It's all built by
Oh, wow.
all the downdrafts and everything we did.
Yeah.
Cool. This one here is my 99 that was supposed to be done for a show 4 or 5 years ago. They started painting it purple, and there's the cab and the hood, and we were customizing the hood. I moved everything back already. What was it, 8 inches? We made the hood 8 inches longer.
Okay.
This is a project Josh was working on forever. Back in the time, we put a Challenger hood scoop on it, and everything. But he just can't get. He just can't get to it. That's his
Actually, he's got actual paying customers.
That's exactly the problem. All the custom interior, he built it already all himself out of. All this is custom interior.
Yeah, sure.
Council here.
Sure.
It goes in there. We put a bench, a Kenworth bench seat in there for the bed to make it all work.
Right. When did this piece of the shop come to be in the whole
2016.
Ristler built? Is that when that became a
No,
idea?
no, it was just Ristler Built LLC just came out when?
Oh,
This year?
Ristler built
Or last year?
last year. Then I took it over in January.
Okay. You used to use that. You put that on your trucks.
Yeah, all our trucks were signature Ristler Built.
Yeah.
But when we turned the garage over, we called it Ristler Built LLC.
Okay.
Yeah, we just named it Ristler Built Garage.
But the garage has been here a good bit longer. And you've been working on your own trucks and doing other stuff too.
Yeah. I don't know how many we paint in there. I know I painted at least a good 15, 20 trucks over there. And whether it was in the shop or out in the dock area on non-windy nights.
Sure.
Yeah, we did the reefers right there in that dock area. We back in there and we'd paint it the evening when the wind got down.
Right.
And then in the shop, we put plastic up in there. We made where the boat is in there. That we'd make into a makeshift paint booth. That was our makeshift paint booth.
Right.
Have a fan blowing in, but after a while, the fan would just suck it in, and we'd be on the paint. We'd pull it off, just ruin our paint jobs, right?
I had many stressful nights in that shop.
Yeah.
And he did it all hands-on, just by learning from his dad. Just hands-on.
How old are you now, Josh?
28.
28.
Yeah.
And are you the youngest? Is it?
Middle child. Yep.
Oh, Jordan's the
Jordan's the youngest.
How old are you?
23.
And Justin, he's 30.
Josh Ristler's made big strides in paint work, as his father noted, and is open to a variety of work from outside at the Ristler Built LLC shop there. You can find him on YouTube on his Josh Paints account, handle at Ristler Custom Trucks.
Yeah, I started about 5 years ago on TikTok and then YouTube, and it was only painting videos, and that's why I was called that. But now it's like everything, so I honestly should change the name. But everybody knows it, so it's kind of I'm stuck with it now.
He's also building overhead consoles. He's customizing the overhead consoles that are plug and play pretty much.
Right.
I don't think I have any together back here, just more mess. I have there's a stack of just the panels, the blank panels in there for whenever people order them, I just wrap it whichever color they want for the leather on the front and then paint the bottom to match.
Right.
And then and I've done a couple of them now where we'll put like 6-inch speakers in the face of it, like firing towards the driver, which is really cool. But yeah, just another one of those side projects.
Right.
But
and you've done that solely for Pete cabs?
yeah, just P cabs.
We did find some examples of the overhead console templates Josh has devised. You can find a picture of one or two in the post that houses this podcast for June 16th, 2025 at overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio.
It's a lot of word of mouth, and we got a lot of dedicated people that I've done trucks for. Like I just built a truck this year. I built a 24 model 3, or is it the 589s?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got 2 of them now.
I did 2 of them this year already, and it's a customer that the first truck I painted for him was, I think he said 15 years ago.
Wow.
So, I mean, we have a lot of people that we've been working with for a long time, and so I get to be a little choosy on what I work on anymore. So if I get a choice, to work on something new, I'm gonna pick this over, starting with somebody with a 97 379 where it's kind of messed up and a lot of extra work.
Well, probably about 4 years ago, we were getting so much work from other people. My trucks were going downhill, and I finally said we got to stop, and we put a stop to it because we were booking them out 6 months, so half a year, and we told them we got to stop and start working on our own trucks, and then everybody started not coming because we're like, we had to tell them no. But I told him now he took over. I said, all you got to do is start working on them again. It won't take long. This parking lot could be full. And it could be right now if we took everybody on that they asked.
What if I wasn't booking them out?
But we book them out enough because one thing that's very important to me, I know a truck ain't making no money sitting in this shop.
Oh, yeah, right.
And we see and we hear from other garages around, come on there, we'll get on it. And it'll sit there, I might tear it apart, and it'll sit there for 2 weeks. That poor guy's losing out so bad when that truck sits there. I know.
Yeah.
Because
of course
I drive a truck and I own a trucking company. That's why everybody likes coming here, because they know we know trucks.
Yeah, you schedule them out.
And we schedule them now to get in and get out.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody sitting out here. We could have, like I said, we got them lined up out here and they'd be mad at us, and I don't want that.
Right.
I want them to be making money on the road. So I tell them if they come in here with a busted up fender, we'll tell them we'll paint that fender and we'll have it ready to put on when you come back. And so we'll make a fender, even a hood if we have to fix the hood up. And we'll have it all ready for them so they can keep trucking until it's one day down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of our most important things, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
What's the other most important thing? If you
Do it right the first time.
don't do it right. If you're not going to do it right the first time, don't do it at all. That's what I tell everybody in here.
Big lessons learned from a huge raft of experience for Paul and Michelle Rissler and the family team at Paul Rissler Transportation and Ristler Built LLC, California, Missouri. A big thanks to Paul and Michelle, Josh, Jordan, and Justin for showing me around the headquarters last month. In the coming weeks, keep tuned to our Custom Rigs video series for a closer look at the 2016 389 recently purchased, tuned up for running. You can find them online at ristlerbuilt.com. As noted up top, the company is the reigning small fleet champ in the 3 to 10 trucks division. And know that the 2025 competition is well underway. Get your fleet in the running, up to 30 trucks at overdriveonline.com/2025SFC. For a chance to be recognized as a finalist, Small Fleet Champ sponsor NASTIC's annual conference in Nashville in October. As noted, entries are open through the end of July. Again, at overdriveonline.com/2025SFC. I'll post that link in the show notes for the podcast wherever you're listening. Overdrive Radio is on Spotify and SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts and YouTube, Overdrive's Facebook page, and any listening platform, really. Leave us a review there if you're enjoying these, and here's a big thanks in advance for it. As always, big thanks for listening. Overdrive Radio is a production of Overdrive, the voice of the American trucker. It's edited and produced by me, Todd Dills, with the acoustic guitar and other support of trucker-songwriter Long Haul Paul Marhofer. The theme is The Legend of the Snake Man by Marhofer, featuring the guitar work of Travis, the Snake Man himself, Wanick, Terry Two Socks Richardson on bass, keys by Tisha Mingo Jim Whitehead, and on drums, Andrew Marshall. The podcast is backed up further by Overdrive's own social media coordinator, Jasmine Campbell, senior editor Matt Cole, executive editor Alex Lockie, and video editors Lawson Rudisell, Andrew Gwynn. See you next time.